which is the longest dungeon in Skyward Sword. Yup, we're doing this yet again. So far, we've covered Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and now it's time for Skyward Sword. You guys seem to think that Lanayru mining facility is going to be the winner, but this time the votes were a lot more spread out, so this is going to be very interesting. Keep in mind, once again, this is completely subjective. These playthroughs are coming from someone who knows Skyward Sword really well, but your times might be totally different depending on your experience. I'll be timing every mandatory dungeon room, adding up how long each one takes and breaking down what makes certain dungeons feel longer or shorter. Here are the rules. The timer starts the moment I enter the dungeon and stops the second the boss is defeated. I won't be grabbing every optional chest, so not every dungeon map unless it's staring right at me. Skyward Sword actually didn't have a compass, and it's actually added with the dungeon map, so there's one less optional chest not to get, right? No glitches and no sequence breaks, just straightforward runs with solid game knowledge. To keep this series consistent, I'll be playing the original Wii version and not the HD remaster. I told myself that I wouldn't touch the original version again because of the controls, but I'm using the footage for another video, so stay tuned. If you're playing the HD remastered version, then your times will probably differ and the dungeons will take an even shorter amount of time due to the quality of life and control changes, as well as the faster dialogue times. Before we dive in, drop your predictions in the comments and we'll see who gets it right. I also want to give a huge thanks to everyone who continues to watch this series. These videos take quite a while to make, so I'm very appreciative of every single one of you. This one is going to be very interesting and wide open in terms of dungeon length, so I am so excited here. Without further ado, let's dive into the game's first dungeon, the Skyview Temple. This first room is extremely linear, just follow the path and at the end you don't even have to climb up to nail the switch with an accurate seed. This next room could take a bit if your motion controls don't work with you here, but they did okay here, thank God, but it does get harder. In this third room, take the door on the right after hitting the switch, then jump down to the left and through the small tunnel for another switch to hit, which raises the water level. Now backtrack a room, jump into the water, and just below the locked door is another switch to hit to open said door. In this fifth room, simply hit the vines and swing onto the bridge in the center. Now hit another switch to raise even more water. Now use the other vine to swing back onto the other side and out of this room, back into the previous room, where we can ignore this chest, it's just a dungeon map here. Use the now floating log to get atop the vines. See, trying to jump the vines here for some reason always gave me so much trouble, but I got it here first try. This room, guys, can be a major time killer for you Wii players with these stupid motion controls. We can't ignore this guy, and basically you have to slash him until his belly is showing and then stab it, which is so difficult with the motion controls. Like, look at this garbage. I'm trying to stab here. It didn't take too long though. Now we have to deal with 2 of these eyeballs, but thankfully this one didn't take too long, and this gives us a key. Backtrack to the previous room and go through the door at the north for a very open room. It has such an obvious switch first, so hit that and go through the center room for a mini boss fight with the Stalfos. Afterwards, we get such a great item, the beetle. Throughout this entire playthrough, these stupid controls didn't work well for it, and I always had it going left for no reason, so I was literally fighting them here and trying to make it go the other way. Thankfully, right now, all we have to do is hit the switch on the outside, but these controls are going to be a problem, guys. Just watch. Back in the open room, run through the locked door, and above it is a tunnel that has another switch that you can hit with the beetle. Just run straight into this next room and into one that killed some time for me. First, take care of the spider, then drop a block in place into the center of the 3 eyes. Now, this right here is a prime example of my hatred for these motion controls. I don't even need to say much, but it took about 45 seconds of wasted time trying to do a damn circle, guys. Oh my God. Anyways, after you get the key, return to the previous room and once again use the beetle to hit the switch, which will allow us to access the top of the room and out. Back in the open room, get rid of the 4 hanging Deku Babas with the beetle and access the locked door. I don't think I was ever able to get across these ropes with these controls, and I always just did this. These Staldras can be so annoying since you need to hit all 3 heads which took multiple tries, but didn't take too long. Follow the straight path in this next room until you see another switch, which opens a door as a shortcut to the previous room, which we won't use. Make it across the other side of the rope while knocking these bokoblins off, then make your way to the right. At the top of the vines, make your way to the next platform using the rope, and then from rope to rope until you reach the game's version of the boss key, the golden carving. Now make your way across the rope again and try and place the carving on the door. The motion controls can make this a lot harder than it should be, but it only took about 8 seconds here to open. After about a 2-minute cutscene, we can fight Girahim. Just look at the way these controls think I'm aiming this sword. Like, I'm literally aiming to the left here. This first phase can be a bit annoying from the controls, but the second phase is much easier and only took about a minute and a half, giving us a final time of 21 minutes and 53 seconds. The Skyview Temple had a total of 12 rooms and only 1 floor. It's a very linear and straightforward opening dungeon with low combat difficulty, but some enemies will take more time to defeat if your motion controls aren't working with you. In fact, I'd say the only time sinks of this dungeon are the eye door puzzles and the uses of the beetle to hit the switches. For the first dungeon, the boss is actually surprisingly difficult and should add a bit more time as well. There is backtracking, but it is minimal and intuitive. Other than that, it's a very straightforward dungeon that won't take much time at all. That being said, we're actually not done with this dungeon and come back to it at a later time in this game, so this time isn't actually the final time. Stay tuned and we'll see how long the total time is for the Skyview Temple. I personally believe that this will be the shortest dungeon, and it's also my least favorite. Simply jump from platform to platform until you reach a closed gate in which you need to destroy 3 ropes to draw it. I had a lot of trouble with this Lizalfo, but it was no fault of my own. Like, honestly. Now we can use the beetle to destroy the bomb on the statue's eye, which gives us a way of transportation. This was actually one of the bright spots of this dungeon in my opinion. So let's ignore everything and head to the right where we get some dialogue. Afterwards, head through the small cave and try your best to roll a bomb underneath the cave, blowing up the boulder. Now, these motion controls, guys, never pick up trying to roll anything, but right now they didn't fail me here. This next room, guys, I was actually so nervous for because we have 2 Lizalfos and I was so close to dying. So I kind of just took my time a bit in this room, but it wasn't that bad, giving us the bomb bag. Back outside, there's more dialogue, and afterwards we are awarded with his bomb bag. After even more dialogue, let's try and hop back on our ball here. We can head to the left side of this area and then right to use the sphere to push one of the switches in. It didn't work very well here because I guess I was at the edge, but we still got it after jumping back on. Now we can head to where we were before, and this time head north, and this part can actually take some time if you don't have the dungeon map. You see, there's actually a small crack at the northeast part of this room that can be blown up with the bomb to continue. If you don't have the dungeon map, like, this will take you a while to find. These stupid keys can be so annoying too. Let's continue to move, and you'll see another crack to blow up to the left. If you need any more bombs, you can jump off the platform to the right, but let's continue through. Keep following the path until you reach a closed gate and a platform. Here you'll have to open the gate by destroying a rope at the top of it, and then around the small cave and behind it. Now continue following the linear path. I've always loved this part in particular. At the end of the path, we can now use the sphere to push the other switch in, giving us access to the northern room. Here, just run up the hill and then quickly to the area on the left, avoiding the boulders. Now quickly run to get to the top. Crawl through the small cave, and here I stocked up a bit on bombs because I only had one. Now dig through one of the soils to allow us to reach a staircase where we can throw a well-timed bomb, destroying the boulder. This took a couple tries. Run up the second hill and to the left spot where we blew up the boulder, avoiding the other boulders. Now continue to the top, head to the left and up the stairs, and continue until you reach the dragon sculpture. Now just run all the way back down, avoiding the boulder, and I really don't see how you can die here. Again, this is another very easy one that's just made a lot harder with these motion controls, and this was about 40 seconds of wasted time. After about a minute and a half of dialogue, we can fight Skaldera. This one is actually a lot easier than Girahim. Just simply throw a bomb at him when he's not glowing, and then in his mouth when he sucks in, allowing us to attack his eye. And honestly, it's basically rinse and repeat, except sometimes he'll run past you and just get blown up by the bombs at the top. Very straightforward boss, especially if you have a stocked up bomb bag, and only took about a minute and a half, giving us a final time of 17 minutes and 42 seconds. The Earth Temple only had a total of 4 mandatory rooms and 1 floor. It's a very cavernous dungeon and open while also being extremely short. There is not many time sinks, but a major chunk of the runtime comes from navigating the large rolling ball and backtracking through the main lava-filled rooms. It could kill a lot of time trying to bomb the northeastern section since it's basically not visible at all. There's a bit higher combat difficulty with Lizalfos and annoying staircase while you're navigating with the rolling ball, but nothing too difficult. The boss is very straightforward. Besides the central room, it's a very linear dungeon that won't take much time at all, and I won't be surprised if it's the shortest dungeon. This is my second favorite dungeon in the game and what most people think is the longest. And this is also where the dungeons are going to start to ramp up a bit in terms of length. In this first room, you could ignore everything and just use the beetle to drop a bomb in the holder, allowing us to pull the switch and open the door. Here we just want to go through the northern door by placing a block against the wall and jumping up. There isn't much to do in this huge room yet, so just turn to the right and bomb the blocks on the platform, allowing us to reach a key. Then backtrack to the previous room and use it on the door to the left. Oh, and be careful of these guys again. Follow the linear path in this room and up the vines. Now use the beetle to bomb a block, allowing us to reach the top of the staircase. Step on the switch and while on it, use the beetle to hit the time shift stone, which is one of my all-time favorite mechanics and one of the best parts of this damn dungeon. Just look at that. I'm blown away every single time. That being said, this room becomes significantly harder now in the past. Run across the conveyor, avoiding the BMOs and down the stairs. Now run against another conveyor, avoiding the blades and picking up the stamina wheels. This looks harder than it actually is. At the end, just follow the staircase up and through another conveyor until you reach a switch behind a BMOs to open the door to the next room. Running down the conveyor is always so much fun though. This next room, back in the present, go up the staircase to the right and make your way straight while not doing this. Use the Froaks to destroy the boulders and continue to make your way through each platform until you get the Gust Bellows. This was such a quick time to the dungeon item. Now make your way to the right, making sure nothing bothers you, and up the stairs. If you do fall down, guys, it won't take too long to get back up. We're back in the third room. Once again, we can backtrack to the second room, and this time we can open the right door by placing a block on the switch. Simply make your way from each platform until you reach the left corner, revealing a time shift stone with the Gust Bellows. We can now move these platforms with the Gust Bellows and then use it on the fan above to open the door. Now move another platform to Link and use it to get to the left wall and up the stairs. I'm actually going to avoid the central because I don't have a shield here, but I don't think you actually need a shield to kill these guys. I'm still going to ignore him. I'm going to kill this guy though because he can be very annoying here. Now just use the Gust Bellows on the fan to open the door. I was so lucky here that these things didn't explode. This room is a bit combat heavy, and once again, these guys were annoying to kill. Afterwards, place a block against the northern wall and make your way up. Get rid of the sand in the locked room and hit the time shift stone to reveal an Armos. These guys can be annoying to fight if your stab isn't working, but thankfully it went okay this entire playthrough. Defeating it will open the door. Ignore the chest, it's just a dungeon map. Once again, we're back in the third room. Isn't it just huge? Now this time it could take a bit to navigate across the sand, but it's the same process as in the Lanayru desert. Just kind of use your map to see the path you can stand on. We want to make our way to the middle platform and then use the Gust Bellows on the sand to reveal a cave. Not very difficult to navigate here, and at the end you'll reach a moderately annoying room where you basically have to find a hidden switch to open the door. I didn't have it memorized here, but surprisingly it only took about a minute to find. Hey, we're back in the third room once again. Reveal the platform at the time shift stone and take a second here to see how bad my motion controls were here. Like I'm trying to stab. The platform will start moving and you'll reach a closed door with the central, which I didn't avoid this time. Afterwards, open the door and continue through the created path until you reach another mandatory BMOS to kill. This isn't difficult, just use the platform as a shield until you reach the end where you can pull a switch to quickly move it the rest of the way. I'm gonna avoid opening this door since I don't really see myself dying and it's just basically a shortcut. Now do the same thing for another platform until you reach another fan to open the next door. We just passed the time of the Earth Temple. At the end of the path, hit the stone twice to move the platform back across, allowing us to reach the next room. This room looks a bit intimidating, and that's because it kinda is. Try your best to avoid the gusts of wind to make your way up, but I didn't really do a good job here and it was pretty annoying. Damn, that was close. At the top, use your bombs to pull the platforms down and make your way across, revealing the time shift stone. Go back across and to the left, quickly cross 3 conveyors. Now pull the switch to bring the platform to Link and use it to move across. Bombing these 2 other holders will simply reveal the hint for our next puzzle. Bring the platform to the right and use it to get across, defeating or avoiding the Centrobe. I'm really pushing my luck here. Make your way to the right platform and you'll see 3 holders, and bombing them will reveal switches. The previous holders we bombed reveal the answers to the order these switches should be hit, so this could be a bit time consuming of a puzzle. Hit the far left one and then the far right one and then finally the middle one to open the door. Here, kill 2 Armos to finally get the ancient circuit. Jump down the ladder and make your way left and up the conveyor. This one is the most annoying now with geysers to deal with as well. We're once again back in the 3rd room, and this time activate the final time shift stone on the platform to carefully make your way across the boss door, avoiding the geysers. Oh my god, shut up, Fi. Thankfully, this one only took about 5 seconds. The boss is extremely easy and really has the difficulty of a mini boss. Just continue to hit each claw until both are destroyed and then stab its eye. If he does go under the sand, you really know what to do here. The only way this boss could be difficult is if your motion controls won't let you stab, which always happens. Otherwise, extremely easy, giving us a final time of 29 minutes and 6 seconds. The Lanayru mining facility had a total of 10 rooms and again, only 1 floor. It is a massive step up from the first 2 dungeons. The biggest time sinks of the dungeon include the amount of sand clearing and the time shift stone cart escorts. There's backtracking here, but in the best way possible. You see, the 3rd room was absolutely huge and we constantly revisited it, but in a different area, giving us an amazing sense of progression. It has one of the most complex layouts with many branching rooms. The combat difficulty is a massive step up from the first 2 dungeons with a lot of BMOs and Armos, which all comes down to if your motion controls want to work with you. It has moderate puzzle difficulty and relies around the time shift stones to completely change the environment between the past and present, where you'll frequently solve multi-step puzzles where pathways only exist in the past or present. This is a dungeon that just feels massive because the rooms drastically change in the past versus the present states. Even without a mini boss, this dungeon is a real time killer. That being said, the boss was extremely easy and the only difficult thing was trying to get the stab to work. And we're back in the Skyview Temple. This time there's a bit more dialogue, but simply make your way to the 3rd room as before and to the right with some more dialogue. Go through the cave once again, but this time it's flooded, and climb up the vines for a key in a soil spot. Now we can go through the locked northern door to the open room. Now just make your way back into the boss room after taking care of 2 bokoblins with the bomb. Look how rough this flying thing was with these stupid controls. Such a waste of time, man. Afterwards, there's more dialogue before you get into the boss room again. Deal with 3 Stalfos this time, which shouldn't be too difficult and only took us a total time of 5 minutes and 28 seconds. And this gives the final Skyview Temple time of 27 minutes and 21 seconds. Let's move on. The dungeons in this game are some of the best designed dungeons in the entire series. As much as I want to admire this dungeon, run to the right until you reach a door opened by a switch. Jump down and head to the left, avoiding the Skulltulas. This puzzle, guys, I only knew from memorization, but I really can't remember how to solve it without knowing the order. It can be a real time killer trying to figure it out. I'm also so thankful that my motion controls worked here as well. Jump it in the water and head up the vines where this idiot really annoyed me. Now jump down on the lily pad against the wall to flip it upside down, allowing us to swim through a small linear cave. At the end, you'll reach a chest containing a key. Now backtrack to the first room, and this time we can go through the center door with the statue. Jump down for a battle with the mini boss, Stallmaster. This dungeon has one of the shortest times to the mini boss. See, I was a bit nervous here with my hearts, but we did okay. Afterwards, head through the door for the whip. This is one of my favorite items here. Use the whip to activate the water spout to leave the room and back out to the first room. I got this rupee here because my pockets were hurting. Use the whip on the upside down lily pad to flip it, and then use the whip on the switch to close the waterfall, allowing us to progress through the small linear cave. This guy really annoyed me and wouldn't flip, so I had to really bait him. And I got so lucky here. Use the whip on the right side to swing yourself across and onto the vines. Now ride the rotating platform until you reach another platform higher up. Continue riding it until you reach the final platform. Here you'll want to swing yourself onto the switch to open the door. This could take a few tries here. I have no idea how I made that. Do the same thing to get across. As much as I would love to avoid these guys, I can't take any chances with my heart situation. Use the whip to activate the whirlpool, then hop right in to take us into the basement. Swim to the back and take care of the northern Skulltula to flip the lily pad, allowing us to progress. Now use the whip to grab the key that the bokoblin is holding and use it on the door. I've always loved that. After a brief cutscene, jump in the water to bring yourself back upstairs. Jump on the northern platform and open the door. There are only optional chests outside, so let's stay in this room and flip the lily pad and climb the vines. I was getting really nervous here. Like, bro. Jump straight down and flip the lily pad. Now go through the cave defeating these annoying ass frog and then up the stairs. Activate the switch, which will bring the flipped lily pad up with the water spout. Go back the same way as before, and this time flip the lily pad again and make your way across. Or at least try to. Like, bro, why wasn't this working? At the end of the path, open the door and use the vines on the left to continue to make your way left with the switch in the middle. Again, why didn't this stupid thing work? Pulling it down will change the orientation of the dungeon, and if we backtrack to where we defeated the mini boss and go through the door, we'll be in the basement this time. Isn't this so cool? Behind us and to the left is a completely open room, and if you continue to follow the linear path to the right, you'll reach a dead end with a single bomb. Use the beetle to move it all the way across the poison water where you'll see a bombable boulder. You may get a time scare here with the beetle, but you should be okay. Now use the lily pads to get across the swamp and swing onto the newly available platform. Climb up the first spinning platform and then jump onto the second one. Here I messed up and actually jumped on the next platform before changing its direction, so don't do that. Instead, keep riding the second platform until you reach another one where you can climb up the vines and change the direction of the main platform. Now we can get across. Continue following the path and riding another rotating platform and all the way to the left until you can climb up the vines and once again change the direction of the platform. This time, if you jump on the previous platform, it'll take you to a new area where you can climb up the rope and try to be stopped by some creepy ass bokoblins, but this is one of my favorite parts of this game. We just passed the time of the Earth Temple. Back upstairs, all you'll want to do is change the orientation of the center room again and then hop back down into the basement. This time, we can access the big key and the blessed idol. Be quick to get out of this pit and then take the door staring at us. Now we can make our way to the very top of this room and use the blessed idol on the door. Again, this one didn't take too long at all. After activating all the switches, we can now fight my favorite boss in the game, Koloktos. After a quick cutscene, we are introduced to Koloktos and one of the longer boss fights as well. Basically for this first phase, you just want to destroy both of his arms with the whip and then his other two, and then all you do is attack his heart. Do this twice for the second and more chaotic phase. Here, all you want to do is wait for his arms to attack and then destroy one of them. Grab one of his weapons and then quickly attack his heart. It's basically rinse and repeat now, which gives us a final time of 26 minutes and 59 seconds. The ancient cistern had a total of 9 rooms, 1 floor, and 1 basement. It's a very open dungeon with many interconnected areas. It's what I believe the best and most straightforward water dungeon in the series. The major time sinks of this dungeon include the amount of climbing, the water navigation, the unskippable statue animations, as well as the basement sections. It has moderate to low combat difficulty, but it has a harder mini-boss compared to the previous dungeons. The boss is on the longer side, but it's not very difficult either. The ancient cistern also has moderate puzzle difficulty, with the hardest one being the door puzzle and will kill sometime if you don't have it memorized. Most of the other time sinks are just the motion controls not picking up the whip direction. Overall, it's one of the most well-paced dungeons that's beautifully designed and a perfect length for a dungeon. Everyone seems to love this dungeon, but I was never much of a fan. That being said, we can begin this dungeon by entering a door to the left. Here we're basically running to the bottom of the ship, so basically just keep running through the linear paths and across the sand, and I've successfully avoided this spoon here. Continue down the hall and into the next room. Eventually you'll find yourself in a room with another puzzle door just like in the ancient cistern. Now again, I have this memorized, but for this one the answer is underneath the sand if you use the gust bellows, but the hardest part here is trying to get the motion controls to slash up. Thankfully I had no problems here. Once you get the key, backtrack all the way to the first room, and now we can enter the locked door for the mini boss fight. Now this dungeon has an even shorter time to the mini boss compared to the ancient cistern. It's going to be a bit harder to kill this guy without a shield, but basically just continue to attack until he falls off the ship, giving us the bow. Head back outside and now we can hit the target, which summons the time shift stone. Hit the time shift stone, and after a brief cutscene we need to make our way to the top where the stone actually is. Climb the central ladder and take care of all the bokoblins. I'm not going to be lazy here because I don't want any risk of falling off. To the right, we can hit the switch to bring a bar for us to zipline up. Do the same thing for the other switch, being careful not to fall off. At the top, take care of the final bokoblin and then reopen the time shift stone, allowing us to progress. After some dialogue, we can re-enter the ship, and this time we're in the past. Head down the stairs and into the second room again. This time we can enter an area we couldn't before. If we look up, we can hit the time shift stone to switch it back into the past. I'm just gonna grab this map here just because. While still being in the present, head across the sand and hit the target behind the inactive fan, which opens the door. If it's still in the past, guys, the fan will be spinning and you won't be able to hit the switch. In this next room, just move the block onto the switch and hit another target behind the inactive fan, allowing us to enter the next room. Now we want to change it back into the past and head into that newly opened room. We can now activate the first power generator. Run into the opposite room and move the block onto the switch, opening the two windows. This is a very clever puzzle here. Basically, we want to run all the way back up and outside, and this time run to the ladder on the opposite side. Change it to the present and then hit the switch while on the boat, and it'll bring a boat down, and now we can access the power generator room with these open doors in the past. That is very clever and one of my favorite puzzles. Change it back into the past with the above opening and then activate the second power generator. Leave the room and head to the left room on the same side again. Take the left window down to enter the next room. Jump down and carefully make your way across so you don't get crushed. This isn't hard at all. The next part is a bit harder, but basically jump up the ladder and fling yourself onto the first platform and then try and jump onto the next one. I'm really not sure why this didn't work the first time though. Crawl through this small linear tunnel until you reach a previous room, and after some dialogue, this adorable ass robot will give us a small key. We just passed the time of the Earth Temple. Now backtrack all the way to the ship's entrance, and this time change it to the present and enter the top locked door. Run down the stairs and through the available entrance. Change it back into the past and get rid of this annoying ass bokoblin and Beamos. While standing on the switch, hit the target to open the next door. Get rid of 3 mandatory Beamos here with a simple arrow, and this gives us access to the big key and the squid carving. Now backtrack all the way to the second basement to the boss door. This took about 30 seconds again. To begin this fight, simply get rid of any blocking tentacles and make your way to the front of the ship. It's not hard, and once you reach the outside, you'll fight this goofy ass after a 40-second cutscene. This is actually one of the longer boss fights though. Basically continue to attack any tentacles, and when he resurfaces, just hit his eye with an arrow and then attack his eye with your sword. We just passed the time of the ancient cistern. We just passed the time of the Skyview Temple. Rinse and repeat 2 more times for the next phase. Use a block to get to the top of the ship here. This time quickly hit his eye once again, and this one is basically a freebie. We just passed the time of Lanayru mining facility. And this last time, guys, basically just get rid of these eel-like guys until he opens his eye again, and then do the exact same thing, giving us a final time of 29 minutes and 59 seconds. The Sandship had a total of 9 rooms, not counting the outside mini-boss room, and treating each generator room as one, and 1 floor with 2 basements. The Sandship is essentially one big interconnected ship with a decayed, lifeless present and a fully operational past. Switching between these adds time and complexity, especially if you miss a door that only opens in one state. It has moderate combat difficulty with annoying technoblins and Beamos and the pirate captain mini boss, which requires good timing and is made easier with the shield, which I didn't have in this run. I would say this dungeon has the highest puzzle difficulty out of any dungeon thus far, and some rooms require multiple visits with different time shift states to unlock doors or energize systems. The boss is also time consuming and one of the longest in the game due to its cutscenes, but is very easy overall to deal with. Overall, the biggest time sinks of this dungeon is the amount of backtracking through the ship, the time shift transformations, and the long boss fight. It's one of Skyward Sword's most cinematic dungeons, but that also means more cutscenes, more transitions, and more mechanical waits. This is actually one of my all-time favorite fire temples in the series and just so overlooked as a dungeon. We can start by hitting the plant, allowing us to stand on the platform on the lava. Once it reaches the end, jump on the next platform and follow it until you have to kill a mandatory blue bokoblin for a key. Oh, I also forgot to mention the amount of dialogue this dungeon has. It's like a crazy amount of dialogue, guys. After, take the door to reach the outside. I absolutely love the design of this dungeon, guys. Move down the staircase and into the next room. Take another staircase to the right down and into a caged lava pit. Stand on the platform and allow the lava hand to bring you up to another platform. Follow the vines both up and across and then jump down and through the door where you have to face a mandatory dark Lizalfo. Afterwards, enter the northern door. This is where I was getting completely annoyed with these stupid ass motion controls. Like, look at where it thinks I'm aiming this beetle. I was basically working against it at this point, but try your best, guys, to grab a bomb and destroy the blockage on the statue's mouth. It will be extremely close, and it was if you don't have the upgraded beetle, and may take a few tries. Like, look how close that was. Now shoot the bulb and ride the platform across the now moving lava and into the door to the right. After more dialogue, run to the right corner and use the gust bellows to get rid of the magma ash on the ground, giving us a small key. Backtrack to the previous room and this time use it on the door to the right. Make your way through this linear path past all these plant bulbs and stab at one. Now stand at the top platform and throw the bulb at the frog's tongue. For some reason that didn't work. There we go. Move into the next room in a battle with the mini boss. These magmanos are actually easy as hell. You basically just have to have one lift you up to reach a bulb and then use the bulb on it when they resurface. Now just destroy it with your sword and do the exact same thing for the other. After some dialogue, go through the bottom door and free Silva. After more dialogue, we're gifted the magma mitts. Use them on the northern soil spot for our first underground section. This time is very simple, so just destroy the northern boulder with the bomb and then resurface to the right. Now get rid of the magma ash to the right and we can go underground again. This time we can hit the switch to open the door above. Resurface and head through. I was very bold here and actually managed to ignore every bokoblin, but look how close this was. After more dialogue, head to the right to get underground. This can take a couple minutes, but basically you want to move both gates and then resurface, giving us access to a bulb. Use it on the frog to open the way. Now hit the switch to lower another one of these guys. After some more dialogue, he gives us the dungeon map and a secret, so pay attention, especially to this guy. If you miss it, then this room will basically be the biggest time sink. Basically, bomb the wall to the right of the open path and we can now dig and defeat or ignore the Moldorm. These guys are the creepiest friggin' enemies in this game, man. Head to the left to resurface. Grab the key that I almost missed to the left. Now backtrack all the way to the room after we got the magma mitts, and this time head through the locked door to get back outside. Follow the pathway, move across the lava, and up the stairs. This next room, basically just make your way to the right and around until you reach another soil spot. We just passed the time of the Earth Temple. After some dialogue, hit the switch to open the gate and this idiot will move it back. This next part can be a bit annoying, but also not really at all. Just cut him off basically, and then in return, he will give us a piece of heart and open the way. Shoot the bulb and make your way across the lava again. Behind the bird statue is another soil spot, so get underground again and make your way around and destroying the boulder, releasing the lava. This is timed, but I've never died here, so it's not hard at all to hurry and resurface. Afterwards, the lava will be flowing and we can now use the platform to progress further. Run up the stairs and to the right. This next part can be a real big time waster, but basically jump off the platform to the left and then another platform will appear to catch you. If you do jump off the other platform, you'll basically just die. In this next room, you just simply kill 2 Dark Lizalfos, which actually gave me a lot of trouble and made me very nervous here. Afterwards, this next room has us running up a linear staircase while jumping past any gaps. In this next room, dig and step on every switch in order. It should be self-explanatory here. If you step on a wrong switch, then you'll have to redo it. And then at the end, you'll have to take care of the mandatory Moldorm. Come here! Resurface to finally receive the mysterious crystals. Take the door on the right to get back outside and to the boss door. I was so mad here because these stupid motion controls weren't positioning it right, and I wasted a good minute and a half here trying to position it. Like, you can literally see that I had it lined up and I just needed to move it a bit more, but these damn motion controls weren't recognizing anything, man. We just passed the time of the ancient Cistern. We just passed the time of the Skyview Temple. We just passed the time of Lanayru mining facility. We just passed the time of the Sandship. After about a 2.5 minute cutscene, we fight Girahim again. This time is a bit more complicated, but sort of the same idea. The first phase is a lot more frustrating this time, and you'll have to deal with red diamonds blocking him, while also hitting where his hands aren't. It's the most annoying phase and time consuming, but only took about 40 seconds. The second phase will have him jump, in which you have to be quick and run before he hits you. He will also try to hit you with the red diamonds, but they are simple to hit back. Keep at it, and this will give us a final time of 33 minutes and 37 seconds. The Fire Sanctuary had a total of 13 rooms, not counting any of the outside areas or underground sections, with 1 floor and 1 basement, making it the dungeon with the most amount of rooms thus far. The Fire Sanctuary was one of the more challenging dungeons in the game and had some of the toughest and annoying enemies to deal with. There's frequent backtracking throughout the dungeon and lots of underground digging sections to add up to the time. On top of that, it has so much unskippable dialogue, which also kills so much time. Just like so much dialogue. There's also tons of mandatory enemies to kill as well, so I couldn't just skip past them. The Moldorms are especially a time killer and impossible to catch up to at times as you crawl. On top of everything, Girahim had a longer cutscene and is probably the most annoying boss to deal with thus far due to the motion controls alone. The first room where you have to stab the plant is less obvious for first timers and could be a real time killer since there wasn't much indication that you could even do that before, at least for me. Overall, the Fire Sanctuary is the longest dungeon thus far for a reason, and the dialogue especially adds so much unwanted time. This might actually be my favorite dungeon in the entire series and just a huge bright spot to this game. In front of us is actually the only mandatory map in this game. This is my favorite mechanic of the dungeon and just a slide puzzle to open the way to the next room. Basically, you'll want to connect a room to the bottom right corner and then head through another room straight up. Head through the second room and a Pharaon type room. To the right, displace the rope allowing us to swing across the gap. I got rid of this guy because of how annoying he can be. Now use the beetle and grab a bomb from the rotating pillar, and if you aim for the middle pier up, you can actually take out all 3 with a single bomb. Now claw shot onto the pillar to the left and then onto the one with the bombs, and then finally onto the target in the fish's mouth. Swing onto the first platform and then use the gust bellows to get to the next one, and then finally clearing the gap onto the next room. Run to the left and grab the time shift stone here. Now run down to the linear path, and I took care of the centrope here so he wasn't gonna annoy me. Afterwards, pull the switch at the top of the ladder, then throw the time shift stone on the conveyor. Grab it from the end of the conveyor and continue on. Place it on the moving platform and clear the first door before changing it to the past. Stand on the switch and then move it past the gates. Now move it as far as you can, and then you can hit the newly available switch to open the gates to continue. Grab the stone for the last puzzle. Before placing it on the conveyor, shoot the first target. As it moves on the conveyor, be quick to shoot each available target. It can be annoying to miss one because you'll have to send it back, killing more time, but we got all 5 here first try. And this will open the room, allowing us to figure out the next room. Here I simply just moved the left block all the way to the bottom middle for a new room. Now backtrack all the way back 2 rooms for a brand new room. Run to the left and through the cave. Turn left and roll a bomb to the cave to break the boulder after stocking up. Now dig and move the gate. Resurface and we can now move past the gate. This guy shouldn't give you any trouble now. Bomb the first bomb statue to reveal a switch. Now this one took a couple tries for me, but basically you want to roll a bomb down the hill and land it onto the second bomb statue. You'll get it eventually, and there's always bombs to restock in this room if not. Run down the hill and let's hit this switch here. Climb the vines and hit the first switch that we revealed. This was my last bomb, but you want to use a bomb to blow up the first set of trees that are covering another bomb. Now use that bomb to blow up the next lot of trees. Finally, place a bomb on the last bomb statue to reveal the final switch. Hit the last switch to clear the bars to progress. The order is basically lowest to highest for the switches and shouldn't take too long to figure out. Go past the bars and break the boulder to the left and move around to move the last gate. Resurface and run through the gate to dig once again for a mandatory battle with 2 Moldorms. This could be a real time killer, but only took about a minute here. Resurface at the top right to finally finish this area and move the blocks for our next room. Now this is where the rooms can start getting very subjective, guys, and you can actually move them in any order you'd like here now, I'm pretty sure. But I actually kind of wasted a bit of time here and actually forgot the Triforce of Power trial can only be accessed from the right side. So after some shuffling, I've actually decided to leave it and move the Triforce of Wisdom trial in place instead. We just passed the time of the Earth Temple. Grab the time shift stone to the right and move all the way to the left wall to reveal a target to hit. Now hit the target on the upper platform to lower the bars. Leave the stone and move past the bars and onto the other side. That was so close. While standing on the switch, hit the now open target to raise more bars with the claw shot target. Grab the stone and move to where it was sitting and jump on the raised platform. And on the left wing, you want to throw the stone down so it's perfectly positioned below the gate to allow us to progress. If not, the gate will still be in the present and barricaded, so this may take a couple tries and always was so annoying my first couple times around. Otherwise, stab your sword on the mark to get the Triforce of Wisdom. Backtrack to the previous room, and in this room, I moved the bottom middle room to the middle right, and then in that room, I was able to enter the Triforce of Power trial from the right finally. This was always the most annoying room in this dungeon growing up. Drop a bulb to give us a platform here, and here these keys really annoyed me. But you want to hit the switch ahead to keep the lava flowing, hit the next bulb and jump across the gap to the next area. Now quickly hit the next switch to deactivate the other lava. Otherwise you'll stop moving and just die, so react quickly here. This entire trial really tests your reaction time, guys. Before hitting the next bulb, use the beetle to swing around and hit another switch, activating the lava nearby. This one always got me. Move onto the platform and hit the bulb and jump across. We just passed the time of the ancient cistern. We just passed the time of the Skyview Temple. I got so scared here because look how close I was to dying here. Before you hit the bulb, hit the switch again to change the lava flow again, and then finally hit the other bulb. We just passed the time of Lanayru mining facility. Now I'll have it bring you across the rest of the way where you can claw up and stab the mark for the Triforce of Power. We just passed the time of the Sandship. That is probably the hardest and most time-consuming room in the dungeon, guys. I continued to move through 2 more rooms to get back into the mining facility room to move the middle right room above this room. Now we can fight Dreadfuse, who's basically fought the identical way as in the Sandship. Afterwards, we can grab a key, and after moving some around, we can finally make a path for the Triforce of Courage. We just passed the time of the Fire Sanctuary. I did this in the beginning room and made a really long way for it. Backtracking through 2 rooms later, we can finally get the last piece, which we couldn't do without that small key. This one is basically one big gauntlet, but nothing we haven't seen before. Defeat the 2 moblins and move on. Now defeat all the bokoblins and 2 stallfoes to enter the final room. Defeat the stallmaster and an army of cursed bokoblins. Finally stab the crest and receive the final piece, giving us a final time of 41 minutes and 29 seconds. Holy crap. The Skykeep had a total of 8 rooms with 1 floor. This is probably the most unique 3D Zelda dungeon in the series and is broken into modular rooms that you can move around on a grid and basically create the path you want. Because you're constantly rearranging the rooms, the dungeon's length can vary a lot between playthroughs and can be extremely subjective past the first 3 rooms. The combat difficulty is high, with each room feeling like a final exam for the enemies associated in that area. The puzzle difficulty is also high, and the signature mechanic is the sliding room puzzle, which forces you to plan routes, reposition rooms, and think of terms of spatial relationships. If you aren't good with sliding puzzles, you're going to spend a lot of time here. Some rooms require you to exit from a certain side so that you can move them into the correct position. Environmental puzzles reflect the game's earlier dungeons, each acting like a mini version of the area they reference, and there wasn't a room in the dungeon that didn't have a challenging puzzle aspect. It is by far the hardest dungeon in the game puzzle-wise, but also the most subjective, and times will vary depending on the room order you create or how long you spend rearranging them. This dungeon also has no boss fight and just shows how long it can be puzzle-wise. Here is a total comparison in order of each dungeon's length in Skyward Sword. So while there's no particular pattern for the first 3 dungeons, after the first 3 it looks like they do get longer than the last, from the ancient cistern to the sky keep. And now if we compare the lengths from the smallest to the largest, we can just visualize how much of an outlier the earth temple was. And the Skyview Temple and the ancient cistern were both very close in lengths, as you can see. The sky keep is also a clear winner here. If we compare the number of mandatory rooms in each dungeon, there's no distinct pattern at all, but what stands out is the very first dungeon, the Skyview Temple, having the second largest amount of mandatory rooms, but the Fire Sanctuary ultimately having the most with 13. And of course, the Earth Temple having the least with 4. No surprises there. Comparing the amount of dungeon floors, including basements, there's a clear winner with the Sandship having 4, and the Sky Keep, Lanayru Mining Facility, Earth Temple, and Skyview Temple all only having 1, but once again, no clear pattern here. Adding up the times from each dungeon, it took a total of 3 hours and 26 minutes, and this entire run, guys, took me approximately 12 hours on this Wii version. So for a 12-hour long game, that's roughly only 29% of the game spent on the dungeons, which is absolutely crazy considering that there's 7 of them in this game. Only 29% is spent in the dungeons here. On average, each dungeon took 29 minutes and 27 seconds to complete, and if we compare every 3D Zelda game we've covered, there seems to be a very clear pattern with an increase in dungeon length with each game. So far, Skyward Sword has the longest average dungeon length, while Ocarina of Time has the shortest. The biggest surprise to me was the length of the Sandship. It's not the largest dungeon size-wise at all, but to be a half an hour in length was crazy to see. Also, the Sky Keep being the longest 3D dungeon that we've timed so far is also very surprising to see as well. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know any comments or surprises about anything here. Next time in this mini series, we'll be going through and timing every dungeon in Breath of the Wild, so stay tuned and take care.